Hey guys, Bios Ramos here. Today we're in a different spot again. The previous two spots were a little too noisy. This spot might have a little bit of echo in it, but it's a lot better than it was before. And I'm sitting next to a 72 locker. Put a picture of it right over here. That is where the perfect season for the Dolphins. So let's get into this video.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team.
So unfortunately I wasn't able to get Matt in this video somehow, but what I'm going to do is have Matt's input obviously on these game picks. Now before I get into that, I'm going to go over our scores, our record from the regular season, and then it's going to be a separate record from the playoffs. So let's get into that. Now before I say anything, just want to get into that me and Matt were pretty much like going back and forth the whole season. It was mainly Matt was ahead of me the whole season, if anything. But towards the end, literally on week 16, I overtook him and gave him some trouble week 17. So now let's go over Matt's final record. He finished off 78 and 57, right? And I finished off 79 and 56. So one game above Matt. It came down honestly to week 17, and me and Matt pretty much had the same picks across the board. And the final two games that we didn't agree on, well, Matt changed some of them. I went with Cleveland, he went with Baltimore. Baltimore ended up winning, and then he went with Jacksonville, and I went with Houston, and Houston ended up winning. If one of those two games would have gone differently for Matt, if Baltimore and Jacksonville would have won, that would have been crazy for Matt, because then he would have tied it up, and then who knows, maybe we would have continued the record. But since I cut it off, I'm just gonna cut it off from there and start fresh for the playoffs, just for the playoffs itself. And so now let's talk about the playoffs. So this is how I'm gonna do the playoffs. I'm gonna go AFC first, just because Dolphins are at AFC, so this is more of our competition and more people we're more likely going to see. And then I'm going to go to NFC. So for those of you guys who do not understand the playoff system, let me go here. First seed is obviously the best team of the AFC, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs, who are 12-4, and they have the highest winning record. Following them is the New England Patriots, who are 11-5. Both of those teams will get a first round bye, so they don't have to play in the Wildcard, and that means they get a week off and they get to watch whoever their next competition is going to be, unlike these other teams that I'm about to go over. So pretty much the Chiefs have home field advantage throughout the whole AFC playoffs. I mean AFC just in general, because after that it's Super Bowl, and that's if they make it to the Super Bowl. But let's see. So we have the Chiefs will play the lowest seeded winner out of the wildcard games, and then the Patriots will play the highest seeded winner. So the lowest possible seed is the Indianapolis Colts, who are a 6th seed. They are 10-6, and the Houston Texans are 11-5. They are the 3rd seed. They are division rivals. They are AFC South. So very intriguing matchup to play. Now, following that, we have the Chargers and the Ravens. Chargers are 12-4, highest 5th seed I think ever, and the Ravens are 10-6. But let's take it back to the Colts. So for the game picks, so Matt went with Indianapolis, and we're doing game scores for every single game, right? So Matt went with Indy, and he's going with Indy, and he has them winning 27-17, which is very bold, Matt. Let me tell you, right? That's very bold, right? I, on the other hand, I'm going with Houston, and I think Houston's going to win 21-24. It's going to be a close game. It was very hard for me to pick this game, mainly because of what the Colts have been doing lately, but it's at Houston. Houston's defense has been on a roll, and they have a running game, and they have Deshaun Watson. Like, there's a lot going for Houston, and there's a lot obviously going for the Colts, except for the home field advantage. That is the upper hand that I'm giving to the Houston Texans. That's what has me picking the Texans. Now, going back to that game I spoke about earlier, the Los Angeles Chargers at the Baltimore Ravens. This is a rematch of a game earlier on the season where, honestly, if the Chargers won this, they would be the #1 seed right now. But that is not the case. What the case is the Baltimore Ravens are hosting the LA Chargers. Wow. Who would have thought? So, let's go with Matt's pick first. This one we don't agree on as well, but when it goes to NFC, you're gonna see it, right? So, Matt has Baltimore winning 23-24. Baltimore final score 24, and I have the Los Angeles Chargers winning 31-28. Now, this is the only condition I have when it comes to any of these teams that are listed here. Yes, I picked the Chargers, but if Baltimore wins, I will not be surprised whatsoever if the Baltimore Ravens end up in the Super Bowl, because they have an insane run game and an insane defense that is gonna just do work. And honestly, if that's the case, they will probably win in the Super Bowl, and I would not be surprised. But for now, I have to go with the Chargers. I have to support, because I think they're really good. I think they're one of the best all-around teams. But I think the the Ravens have a better run game and a better defense. But I'm going with Chargers. Now, let's go over to the NFC. So for the NFC, it's the same concept. How number 1 and number 2 seed get a first round bye. So let's go over to number 1 and number 2 seeds. We have the New Orleans Saints, who are 13-3, and then we have the LA Rams, who are 13-3. The Saints beat the Rams early in the season, so they have a head-to-head win on them no matter what, even though they have a tie. Even though technically the Rams have won more games than them, if you think about it. But Saints are number 1 seed. They have home field advantage throughout the whole playoffs, and that's good for them because last year they had to play in Minnesota, which led to the Minnesota Miracle, which was Stephon Diggs catching the ball, and then he just walked into the end zone pretty much untouched. But Saints are number 1, and the Rams are number 2. So same concept with the Saints will play the lowest seed, and the Rams will play the highest winning seed. So let's get into these games. So first and foremost, we have the Philadelphia Eagles at the Chicago Bears. The Bears, you already know who me and Matt are going with. Although we've had our little fanboyism, I guess you could say, for Philly. Carson Wentz is out. Nick Foles got hurt last game, but I think he'll play this week. And it's just in Chicago. I feel like Chicago is just not going to lose this game. They're gonna win this game, and they're gonna roll into whoever they play next. Let's see. I think they are the 3 seed. So that's the highest possible seed, and they will most likely play the Rams in LA. That's if they win. So let's go over Matt's pick, and then I'll go over my pick. So Matt has Chicago winning, and he has Philly scoring 14 and Chicago scoring 23. And I have Chicago winning as well, and I have them winning 10-20. Chicago was 20, obviously. I think it's going to be a great defensive matchup, but I don't think Philadelphia is going to have enough to do it on the Bears in Soldier Field. It's obviously already January, but who knows? Who knows, right? And then, last but not least, the last playoff game that I have here on the list, and that is the Seattle Seahawks at the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think I set the score records for the Eagles and the Bears. Eagles are 9-7, Bears are 12-4, and now we have Seattle, who is 10-6, and the Cowboys, who are 10-6. So let's get into it. Who is Matt going with? Well, I influenced him a lot, right? There's only one problem. You'll see now. So Matt went with Seattle, and he went with Seattle scoring 27, Dallas scoring 24, and this is what he told me to say for him. He said it was tough for him to decide between the two, but he has to go with primetime Russ, also because of experience, but he would not be surprised if Dallas wins. Now, I think the reason he wouldn't be surprised if Dallas wins is they're not in Seattle. I mean, Russell Wilson is just a different animal when it comes to playing in Seattle primetime games, this and that. The 12th man is real, guys, let me tell you. But now, let's go over my pick. And I have this very close game. I have Seattle winning it, and I have them winning 14-13. I mean, Dallas is just going to put up a nice fight against the Seattle Seahawks. And I don't know, man. It's playoffs time, you know? So make sure to tune in. I think half of those games will be on Saturday and the other half will be on Sunday. I think one AFC and one NFC is going to be on Saturday. One AFC and one NFC is going to be on Sunday. I'm not sure about that. I don't know exactly when they're playing, but tune into those games. And some news about the Dolphins, which I will tell you right about now. So, I was speaking about the Ravens, and a Baltimore Raven fan came in, so that was pretty funny. But I was going over the coaches, kind of interrupted me. I'm not mad by that. Football fan, great talking to him. But let's go into the head coaches. That's what I was talking before. So the Dolphins might hire some of these head coaches. And let's start off with a guy who's under Andy Reid, and a lot of Andy Reid's guys have done well in being a head coach. We have one of the Harbaughs. We have, I believe it's John Harbaugh. He was a special teams coach in Philly. We have the Peterson, the head coach for Philly now. And then we have Matt Nagy, head coach in Chicago. And there's one more. It's not crossing my mind right now. But currently we have the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs, Eric Bieniemy. I'm not sure if I said his name right. And then following him, we have Brian Flores, who's the defensive coordinator at the New England Patriots. Then we have the Dallas Cowboys secondary coach, Chris Richards, and I think he is an assistant head coach or something like that over there in Dallas. Following him, we have Mike Munchak. I'm not sure if I said his name right, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's the offensive line coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he's the only coach here that has had previous experience as being a head coach, and that was for Tennessee Titans between 2011 and 2013. Pretty much the same amount of time as Adam Gase was a head coach for the Dolphins. So, I mean, you can give or take. And last but not least, our own in-the-house grown coach, Darren Rizzi, special teams coach. Out of all these guys, Mike Munchak might be one of my favorites, and also Darren Rizzi. And I don't think I mentioned one of them that was actually also one of my favorites, and that's Vic Fangio, defensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears. So those three are my top three. That's being said, if I was to be the guy making the choice, it honestly might be between Vic Fangio, Darren Rizzi, and Mike Munchak. Personally, probably Darren Rizzi would be the top of the list. I just like what he brings to the table. I like how he influences the guys, this and that. I think he's just a great guy, and he's grown into the system. He's been around the Dolphins, one of the longest tenured coaches currently for the Dolphins. And I mean, he's seen every guy that's been in and out of that building for the past couple of years. So you definitely know he's there for the team. He rides or dies with the Dolphins. So I believe he's one of the best choices. But we'll see who the Dolphins go with. So if I had to guess, or if I had to make an educated guess of which coach it would be for the head coaching job, not any type of coordinators yet, but for the head coaching job itself, it would be one of the top three that I mentioned earlier: Vic Fangio, Darren Rizzi, or Mike Munchak. That's about it, guys. If you liked the video, give it a nice thumbs up. If you like to share and show your friends, family, whatever, show them our game picks and my thoughts about the head coaching position opening. Share this video and also comment. Let me know what you guys think. I would love to know what you guys think about our game picks and who could be the possible next head coach for the Miami Dolphins. So that's about it, and see you guys later.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team.